Baruch. Morning, everyone. We're at the last halacha Yud Gimel. See if Yud Gimel in the Shulchan Aruch Siman Reish Samachet. Speaking about the Me'en Sheva, the small chazara that we do on Friday night. Says the Shulchan Aruch, Im hitpalel shel chol velo yizkir shel Shabbat. Let's say Friday night someone said a regular weekday Amida. Or shelo hitpalel klal, or if a person, let's say he didn't pray at all, and he comes into shul, and he's exactly at this part of the Tzibur does a little repetition. V'shama v'shalot tzibur bracha me'en sheva merosh ve'ad sof. He heard the entire bracha me'en sheva. Yatsa. He's yotze for his arvit of Shabbat. He's yotze. Unbelievable. He said the wrong Amida. The guy didn't say Amida at all. He's yotze his Amida. So number one is, as the Shulchan Aruch points out, as the Rav Ovadia points out, and you have to have in mind that that this person is having you in mind. I guess you walk in, they didn't do the chazara yet. He sees you, so you kind of, you have to have him in mind. He has to have you in mind. And you have to hear all the words. The Mishnah Berurah says that you have to actually say every word along with the chazan. But Rav Ovadia argues on that, and as Shomea Ke'oneh is always just listening as long as the kavanah is there. Now, why is there this leniency? The Mishnah Berurah says because Tfilat Arvit Reshut Mekilin Ba. Tfilat Arvit it's Reshut, so it's more lenient, and therefore we could have these leniencies. Now, with this said, so first the Kaf Chaim says that you should stand in one spot and even do the 3 steps before, afterwards, and say Oseh Shalom at the end. Okay, that's Kaf Chaim. But with this, because it could be used as somewhat of an Amida, it helps, says Rav Ovadia and the other poskim, if a person, let's say, he forgot to say Mincha on Erev Shabbat. He was so rushing for shul, forgot to say Mincha. Now he has to say 2 Arvits. So this could be considered like a second Arvit for him. So he says the first Arvit of Shabbat regular. The second Arvit, again, if he has in mind with the Chazan, he tells him, I forgot Mincha, this, have me in mind when you do the Me'en Sheva, it works. Or, if you're the Chazan yourself, and you went up Friday night, and you realize you forgot to say Mincha, then you could have in mind that with the Me'en Sheva, your Yotzeh, your second Amida, that you're obligated to do. Unbelievable. Says the Mishnah Berurah, but if the Shaliach Tzibur already started the Me'en Sheva, and you walked in, you're not Yotzeh. You have to mitpalel arvit. Also, we know that a yachid in general shouldn't say the Me'en Sheva. We already know that. But also, says the Mishnah Berurah, that the proper thing is not to be somech on this, but to properly do your Amida. And to properly do the Amida, as there's some poskim that don't agree with this. So ideally, still do the Amida, and Rav Ovadia agrees with that as well. Ideally, it's not to be relied on, but it is a possibility, as we mentioned. Also, a last point is if, let's say, a similar thing is if, let's say, a person doesn't say the Morida Tal, so he says Mashiv Baruch Morad Geshem. So in the summer, if in the winter, if you said Morida Tal instead of Mashiv Ruach, then you're technically Yotzeh because you asked for a small rain. You're supposed to ask for big rain. You asked for a small rain, okay, that's still something. But in the summer, we want Morida Tal. We don't want Mashiva Ruach. We don't want Morida Geshem. We don't want big rain. So therefore, you're not Yotzeh. So therefore, here as well, if in the Friday night Amida, you said Mashiva Ruach instead of Morida Tal, you would need to repeat the Amida, but you could be Yotzeh with the Me'en Sheva. Okay, that brings us to the end of those halachot. A few points. Unfortunately, no Kohelet shiur today. Tomorrow, Mincha tonight, 6:25, and Gemara shiur tonight is going to be at 9 p.m. We'll still try to end it for 9:30, maybe 9:40, but Gemara shiur tonight is going to be at 9 p.m. Have a good day, everyone. Tana de Vilio.